Hang on one second. I just want to share the link here with the people who need it. Just bear with me. And then we will be able to get going. There we go. It's one of them. All right. Hi, Jody. Good to see you. Jody, just thank you for the heads up on Lipstick Day. Can you feed that back to me when we're sort of just about to go into the main section so that I can get everybody's input on something? That would be great. All right, let's go. So for those of you ghosting at the moment, here is the way that we do this, in case you haven't been to a broadcast before. The first little while, we do news, views, and updates on our viewers. And the reason for that is because we're like an extended family, and we actually care about one another. And so, but not everybody can get to all the broadcasts. So what I try and do is update everybody when I can at the beginning of each vlog, so that if anybody wants to catch up, then we can do that. Jody, you can also leave that until a little bit later, but feel free to remind me. All right. Hi, Jamie. And so what you will see underneath the vlog here, or the broadcast, is, well, on the replay when you're watching it, this is what you will see. You will see from 00 to a certain time, news, views, and updates. And then from another time to the end will be the actual topic. And that today is our Soul Sunday. We do this every Sunday. We have a little bit of regrouping so we can get ready for the coming week. And for those of you who are not regulars, the reason I've got boxes here is because I'm downsizing. And I'm trying to, and by the way, for those of you who've noticed that everything off the table behind me has gone as well, I've just left those two little pictures there just so we've got something in the broadcast. I should actually reposition myself halfway through, right? How's that? Better? Why have I got garbage bags over my chairs? Good question. I'm sure somebody was going to ask me that. The reason is because they are this color. They're this color, and I was busy doing some dirty work on the table, and I didn't want them to get all nasty. So, and I found a garbage bag goes beautifully over the top. Plus, I'm experimenting with that in case I take these chairs with me to my new place, even if I can't take the table, that I would like to take the chairs. So, it's really interesting. Hi there, Linda. Linda, how? Lizzie, please, let's make a note of that. Linda's saying, Sal and the peeps, and yes, Sal, I finished my shredding and filed it all. Yes, well done. I am so proud of you. How does it feel, Linda? And we'll put that into the success section as well. Hi, Charlotte, and hi, Linda. Thank you for noticing that. Yeah. Linda, how does it feel? And this is the reason we have this is because we want you to feel better. Feels great. Yes, doesn't it just? And again, I would recommend to all the viewers, and I'll talk about it a bit more every week, is I really recommend just saying, at the top of each hour, I will just do 10 minutes of concerted effort at whatever it is. Even if you only have 3 hours a day that you do that in, just say when it comes to the top of the hour, I don't have any excuses left. I need to just go and do 10 minutes, and that's all. Now, the other thing I wanted you to do was to do a little experiment with me. And hi, Em. I was thinking about you today. Yeah, yeah. You can't comment if I'm not live, honey. Oh yes, I've been getting. Oh, you're not being able to comment in the notes. I tell you what, then go to, if you really want to make a comment, go to Facebook page and put it in that comment section. All right, now here's an exercise. How many of you are able to stand up at the moment? So this will only be for those people who are capable of standing. And I'm going to do it because I want to show you something. This week, I've been doing something to see how my balance is going. And the one thing is, I would recommend if you are standing, presumably you are near something that is solid. Don't do this unless you're close to something that's solid where you can get a little bit of balance coming in if you need it. All right? And here's what you do. Stand on one leg, curl your toes of the 1 foot round your leg, and then just see how long you can stand. Now, I want to tell you something. When I started doing this, I could only stand for about 5 seconds. Yeah, I had balance issues too, Charlotte. So this is what I recommend you do. I literally couldn't hold it for 5 seconds 2 days ago. All right, I'm about to change legs and do the same thing. Going to hook the toes of my right leg round my left, get balance. Whoop, I'm not so good on this side. And the reason I'm saying this is because it really makes your leg muscles work. As you can probably feel, mine are not doing too well on this. I can do this. No, I can't. Yes, I can. Anyway, so that I'm really proud of myself. Yes, I found that my one side is better than my other as well, Charlotte. So for those of you who know that, and the others of you who are, if any of you are ghosting at the moment, that means that you're here, but we can't see you. You're on the replay or whatever. The other thing I always tell the viewers is even if you are bedridden, there is a way to do cardio without getting out of bed. And the reason I say that is because, let's just get a check. Now, my heart rate is up quite a bit from trying to do that balancing thing. Isn't that interesting? My resting heart rate is normally in the mid-50s to 60. My heart rate at the moment is at 85 because of what I just did. So that's a good thing. I'm now going to pump it up. Are you all ready for this one? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64, 67, 81, 84, 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Okay, and I'm up to, whoops, 107. Yes, okay. Now, here is the trick. If you do 100 arm rolls before you do the 10 minutes of intense focus on whatever it is you're trying to get done, you will be amazed. That will be like going out for a good walk. I needed that one. Wow. Yeah, it does work. It does, doesn't it, Jamie? It's surprising how much you use. And I've even literally sometimes I'll do 100 like this, and the next time I'll do 100 up here, and the next time I will do 100 of these or 50 or whatever. You know, I just keep trying to do a little bit more. And I believe that is the reason, partially, that my resting heart rate is so good. Well, I think it's so good. Either that or I'm dying. Well, I know I'm dying because we all are. As long as we're alive, we're dying, right? So the trick is to live. So in honor of National Lipstick Day, I asked myself, if you only had one lipstick, which one would you use? And I think if I only had one, I'd probably use, surprise, surprise, a mood matcher. Isn't that funny? Because I find for all around use, Nothing like a mood matcher, especially if you're into pinks. Yep. And I say into pinks because most of the mood matchers, regardless of what they say, end up being a pink or a darker pink. So that would be. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you only had one of your lipsticks, which one would you keep? If they said you got to get rid of everything else, which one would you keep? And you're allowed to pick from the, whatever range. I don't know what I do when I'm wearing red. Beetroot, maybe. But you see, this is how I'm downsizing. I'm literally taking groups of things and going, okay, you're only allowed to keep half. You don't have any or wear any. Then it's not an issue for you, Charlotte. But I'm talking for those of us who've got more than one. Maybe for those people who've got more than 10, as I do. So, so do you put a lip balm on, Charlotte? Because I would think with the amount of running you do, it would be important to keep your lips, what's the word? Moisturized. All right, that's a little bit garbled, Linda, and I'm going to see if I get it right. Correct me where I get it wrong. You're saying that you visited a friend in Scotland today. You feel they're mistreating a dog. So I gather you're saying that which you offered to take from them? You're collecting on Wednesday. Okay. How do you go about reducing a friendship? Because I feel I need it. Just do it. Linda, the thing is this, that do you want to get rid of the friendship because of the way they treated a dog? Because maybe they don't know the right way to treat a dog. I'm always a great believer, seek first to understand. Now Charlotte's answering my question about what does she do for her lips, because she's a runner. So I know that she must have something for her lips. And she said she's a huge fan of a brand called Nova Scotia Fisherman. It's a sea kelp-based lip balm. Right. Okay, so Linda, here is the thing. The thing I would probably do is just lessen the amount you contact them. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is like, you don't, they can write to you, but you don't have to respond necessarily, or be slow in responding, and the chances are in your relationship with these people, Linda, how much do they contact you versus how much you contact them? Do you think you contact them 50% of the time, or do you think you contact them more than 50% of the time? Because a really great way to lessen a relationship is stop doing what you normally do. So, that is one way. The other thing is, hi, Amy, good to see you. They contact you daily and you respond. Okay, so therefore, they drive the relationship, not you. Well, think about this, Charlotte. Linda chose to do this. She could have reported them to the SPCA or the RSPCA in England. She could have reported them to the SPCA if she felt that the dog was being abused. But she chose to take the dog on. That is her choice. So it doesn't stink. It's not a burden. It is a choice. Do you all get that? Do you all get that it's a choice? All right. Don't call it a burden. Don't call it anything else. It is a choice she has chosen to take. You see, half of the problem in life, Charlotte, is we put labels on these things. You're talking about the friendship part. That also is a choice. Friendship is a choice. Oh, okay, Charlotte. But you understand, friendship is a choice. We all make the choice every day to keep the friends we've got or not. Every day we do make that choice. Yeah. So, Linda, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just because a lot of people here don't know that that's a choice. Yeah. Hi, Erin. Good to see you, honey. Big hugs. So understand that all these things that we take on are not burdens. They are our choosing. And I'm saying that for the benefit of people who don't understand that yet. For example, have I chosen to take on the stress of downsizing and reallocating? Yeah, I've chosen that to some degree. So there's no point in getting angry about it because it's my choice to do it. And I'm really finding that my life has changed quite a bit since I got really strong on this. Yes, I'm overwhelmed, but it is my choice. So I better get it under control because otherwise I'm going to get sick and I don't want to get sick. So, to me, this is like, I know overwhelm will cause me to get sick, not make rational choices or whatever. So I really work hard at getting myself out of overwhelm. Jody, for example, for those of you who know Jody, will tell you that I, for some reason, got behind on the notes that we took during the broadcast. And I think I was probably close to a week overdue. And so you understand, I need to make time to get up to date so that everybody that watches the Facebook page, at least, will be able to know what's going on with different people. So getting angry with myself wasn't going to do it. It was just, I need to take some time and do it. That's all there is to it. And is it inconvenient because I'd rather be doing something else at the moment? Obviously. But it is what it is. And, if I've chosen to be a caster, and if I've chosen to keep the extended family up to date on what the family is doing, that is my job. And I better spend a bit more time doing it. So it's the first time you've been to visit them in 10 years. Okay, so, but you visited them, you didn't like what you saw. I'm almost scared to ask you in what way was that dog being abused, but I guess I part of me says I don't want to pry, but yes, I do. You know what I mean? And I don't know why I'm asking for that information because I'm probably going to get a little flustered when I get the result of that. But it's good to hear, Linda. It's good to hear that you've done something. If any of you see Nana come in, please give me a heads up. I need to check a couple of birthdays. Ali and her son. Brian. No, Brian? No, not Brian. I think it begins with a B. It might be Brian. No, Brian is Lolo's son. Mark, thank you. Yeah, God forbid I get that wrong. All right, so you will remind me, Jody. Okay, so in terms of that, everything's fine. I'm trying to think what else. I gave myself a gold star. I managed to get in 9 hours sleep last night. I was very proud of myself. Mind you, I'm not sure what it registered. 9 hours on my CPAC machine. I'm just going to check what it registered on my Fitbit for you, because that's always important. Oh, he's a lively 2-year-old collie cross. Well, that says it all. I mean, you know what I mean? People don't realize about collies, do they? All right, so everybody look at this. This is the amount of sleep I wasn't getting. And look, I get a gold star for the amount of sleep I got last night. I had a really difficult week in sleep this week. Yeah, I got 9 hours. But the important part is this part. The red bits are where I woke up during the night. the bits that I'm interested in are these bits here. See these lighter bits here? That's the REM, rapid eye movement, and these bits here, because that's the deep sleep. And just so you know, that night I ended up with that proportion. And I'm interested in the REM because that is restorative. And the deep sleep is restorative. The rest of it, I'm just sleeping. Maybe not. Yeah, so, but the other thing I like to do, just so you know, let me see if I can find this for you here, is, where does it give it to me for the, it started last week. This is the bit that I wanted you to see. Last week, if you see this figure here, I can't read it backwards because it's showing in the thing now. But I only averaged 5 hours sleep a night, and that is not good. So that is my bad. Something I need to control better. So this week, I'm on a mission to get averaging at least 6 to 7 hours sleep a night. And that I'll have to do something about that. All right, so that's done. For those of you who want to know, normally round about now, what's for dinner? We are having steak on the barbecue and my favorite potatoes, which are a russet potato cut in half, covered in oil. You know, you just take a silicone brush with some oil on it and cover it with oil and lemon juice. If you do a mixture of oil and lemon juice, it's really good. And then I bake them. Now I'm baking them while I'm doing the broadcast, but normally I would just put them on the barbecue. But steak doesn't take very long on the barbecue, so I'm not going to let my barbecue run all the time I'm doing the broadcast for no reason. If I were doing the potatoes as well, I'd probably let it cook in there, but owing to the fact that I'm not doing that. No Yorkshire pudding there, not with steak. But I'm sure, actually, something? I've got some frozen. I might just warm them up. What about that, Linda? And Yvonne will be so pleased. Means I got to do gravy. Yeah, okay. So that is what I'm cooking. And then I will also do some fresh vegetables. That I will grill on the barbecue. Because I've got one of those barbecue mats. And I want to tell you, the best investment in my life in terms of barbecuing was to get those barbecue mats, because I just literally cook everything on there. Eggs, bacon, you name it. Vegetables now, I cook, just put them on the mat and let them cook. Wonderful. And, it still keeps the grill marks. That's the surprising thing. You don't expect it to have the grill marks, but it does. So it just looks so good, and also it tastes so good. And now the trick is, and Jody sort of reminded me of this many moons ago, but the trick is to actually sprinkle your vegetables with a little oil. For example, maybe you've got some oil and you put a thyme in it, or I actually like sesame oil. It tastes really good, when you're doing stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing for dinner, and then afterwards, Yvonne normally brings me up an ice cream, and that's her contribution. She was there with an ice cream for me, which is great. Okay, I'm going to chop up my glass with some more ice. Cheers. I am drinking Jamaican coffee, sent to me by a Don Semper street teamer. So this is Suzanne. This is Jamaican coffee with foam. You know something? Corned beef butties are wonderful. For those of you, it really is like spam. For those of you who are in North America, corned beef is spam in North America. That's the closest I can give it to you. But, I think that is a very unspoken joy. I know you probably don't believe this, Linda, but I have spam in my cupboard. And I probably have a backup one. Because every now and then, what I do is I cut them into 6 pieces. I open the can and I cut it into 6 pieces, and I will have 1 piece with salad for lunch. I'll cut it up on my salad. No, I don't, not big into mustard. Although I can be, but not on spam. So, we're all good now. Yes, spam is a really useful, you got to think about it. I know it's not altogether good, healthy, unquote, and Jamie can probably tell us more about that, but it definitely is good on protein. Am I correct in that? I'd have to get a can in front of me to check that out. But I seem to remember that, or even though it isn't something you necessarily want to be eating every day, it certainly is a great thing to have every now and then. And I keep Vienna sausages for the same reason. The little can of Vienna sausages, I will keep that and use those on a salad when I think I'm not going to have what I call a good eating day in terms of protein, if I haven't got any boiled eggs or anything ready. By the way, how many of you, I still haven't put that video together and I want to, how many of you have seen those ads for the egglet things where you float the silicone things in water and they actually hard boil eggs without shells, so you don't have to peel shells? I want to tell you something. It's really interesting because what a lot of people complain about is they say they don't work because they stick. Well, let me tell you, all you need to do is take a teaspoon. I have got the video of it that I did, but I just haven't edited. You just take a teaspoon and put a teaspoon into each of the quarters. You know what I mean? Just around the outside, they pop out beautifully. No problem at all. You just got, like everything else in life, once you know how to do it, it's easy. Everything's easy to do once you know how to do it. How many of you agree with me? The more experience you have, the easier it gets. Duh. I can't remember how much, I'd love $1 or $10 for every person that said, "Oh, Sal, I'd love to be able to speak in public the way you do." And I say to them, "How much have you spoken in public?" What? How much have you spoken in public? None. So I said, really? So you think that I got the experience by not speaking in public? You know what I mean? If you want to get good at speaking in public, do it. And you will make terrible mistakes, but you will learn from your mistakes. Do not do it. Can you imagine if I'd waited until I understood what I was doing on YouTube before I did it? It's just like, this is really important that we do the things that you want to do, but be prepared to fail at it. How many of you understand what I'm saying? If you only want to succeed the first time at everything, then really look at that mirror. That isn't character. That is a perfectionist. So I challenge you all. This thing about standing on the one foot or the other? All right. The reason I wanted to show you that is the first time I tried it, I could only do 5 seconds and I was nearly falling over. But I said, okay, that's my new benchmark. I can do 5 seconds. How many can I do now? I did close to 50 earlier today. So are my legs getting stronger? Is my balance getting better? You see, I get really aggravated with people that want things to go right in a matter of seconds. Wow. Linda saying, "Sal, your encouragement is invaluable." I drove for 8 hours today. Wouldn't have. I wouldn't have done it without you. Thank you. You bet. If it's important enough to do, you will find the time to do it, Linda. Right? It's called what I call having tickets. You know, you will make the time. I always say, you know, if your favorite rock star or actress or actor, you know, gave you tickets to personally see them tonight, would you find the time? Right? Would you find the time? So how many mods have I got online, just in case this turns into another onslaught? Linda, I hope you're proud of yourself. Well, Lissy, I'm glad that you believe I took you around each problem. But here's the thing. This would not have been possible without you wanting to do it. Do you understand? Because that's really important that you understand that. Linda, how long are you on for today? And all right, we're going to pray for the best here, Jody, and we'll deal with it if it isn't, okay? So I just want to give you guys an update. Okay, Linda, I want to make you a moderator. Would that be okay? And I'm going to teach you what to do. All right. So if you see any bad language or anything, I just want to make sure we got support for Jody, because on the broadcast we did on Friday evening, it was amazing what happened. Oh, Beth is going to be one as well. Beth, you are a moderator, so that's good. Yes. Okay. So Linda, what I'd like you to do is, if you click your cursor on anybody's line of talk, at the end, you'll see 3 dots. If you left click on those 3 dots, it will give you some choices. And I want to tell you, please don't do it on my name and boot me, because that would be very difficult. Don't do anything. Just see the options. One is to report them. Don't do that the first time. Put them on what's called a timeout. It puts them on a timeout for about 30 seconds. Is it 30 seconds or 30 minutes, I think? Hang on a second. Let me see here. Oh, 300 seconds. Okay. So that's the first time you see that come up from that person. Just put them on 300-second timeout. If you see that name come back again, and the language is foul, report them or remove them. I'm not quite sure what remove does. It removes the comment, I think, but I'm not sure if it removes the thing. I'm saying this because I want to tell you, on Friday we got inundated, and Jody just deserves, you know, an Oscar for what she did. So do you see the options? That's all I need you to do. Oh, Jody's tried it. It removes the comment. Good. Okay. Okay, that's great. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how to do that. And by the way, I want to give kudos again to Beth, who, when she saw the problem happening on Friday, immediately offered to come and help Jody as a moderator. And so big round of applause for her. Thank you so much, Linda. And we now have some support. I would make you one, but I know you're not here for very long because it's in the middle of the night for you. Yeah, I want to tell you something, but it was a great lesson in keeping your cool, Linda. You know what I mean? It was just a really great lesson. And here was the interesting thing. The interesting thing was, and Erin as well. Erin was wonderful. Sorry, why I don't mention Erin, I don't know. But Erin was wonderful as well. But here is the thing. It was great teamwork. And because we had a whole team of people just doing that, they got tired very quickly. And we could carry on. The interesting thing, though, for the rest of us, it was a great exercise in ignoring what was going on the chat and just keeping on with the program. However, here was the, yeah, here was a wonderful thing that happened to me was that when I came off the broadcast, disconnected the chat and went to edit the information on the video, I noticed that because of the bad language, YouTube had told me they wouldn't monetize the video. Does that make sense? Because of what was going on, I guess. But then I thought about it. In the replay, you can't see any of the bad language, nor did I use any in response. So if you only judge the video on what I was saying, which is all you can judge it on the replay, I told them to review it. And I'm just going to look now to see if I got away with it. Because I talked about haters. Hang on one second. I talked about haters, but the question was, and I talked about how we deal with haters. Hang on one second. I just want to see if they've reviewed it and whether they cleared it. I'm just telling you this in case it ever happens to any. Yay. All right. Remember what I said about ask. All right. They did. All right. Because when I thought about it, I thought, wait a minute. All the bad language was in the chat. I didn't use bad language back to the chat. I didn't, right? Yes, a good response. Sorry, Linda. Yeah. This means ask, right? I couldn't see how they could possibly fault me on what I thought was probably a very good example of how to deal with haters on YouTube. So, okay, great stuff. Victory. Yes, absolute victory. But no, it isn't about that. It is about, I think that everybody that was there at the broadcast, there's some people got really upset. And it's like, shush, it's okay. We don't have to get upset. You see, I trust that YouTube will be aware because they'll get ding, ding, ding at YouTube and saying that there's trouble going on because we are busy doing this, which puts up their filters. And as I said, I've done enough work with the wonderful YouTube people. I've got to say that I think they walk on water sometimes. They sure did to support December. And I literally had people sitting either side of me on one broadcast that we did at December, and they were literally handling all the complaints. And I did say to YouTube that you need to get this easier. You need to get this process. And in those days, it was really difficult. You had to go to another place and you had to explain why you were nuking them and da-da-da. I said, this is not right. You need to if you want to have people do live stream, you need to have this updated because we don't have time to go and do this. You're a single person doing a chat. You don't have time to do this. We need to be able to do it with a click. So please, get it updated. And they did. So I feel in some way that I aided the process. However, what the funny thing was on Friday, I had just said, and the reason why we moved here is we haven't had any problem with trolls. And I'm not joking. As I said it, the heavens opened up. It was like, I should have kept my mouth shut. But great job from the team. We love it. All right, here we go. For those of you who don't know, we're about to go into the main topic. Jody is going to want to have a time check from me. 39 minutes would do it. Yeah, up until that moment that I said that, not one troll. And then once I mentioned it, the heavens opened up and it rained trolls. And it was for quite a while before we got it under control, but we did with some great teamwork. I think the greatest fun about doing Dear Mama Sal is the team. I always said that. Hi, Amel. Welcome. And Amel, I don't think we've seen your name before. Good to meet you. You're just in time for the main topic, which today, as this Sunday is going to be soul work. And we do the soul work just so we can get our thinking and our minds and everything else just settled. Amel, owing to the fact I don't think we've met you before. First of all, am I pronouncing it correctly? Is the accent, if I am, say yes. If not, can you write it in a way that I can say it correctly? I'm saying Amel. So just let me know. First of all, give us roughly where you live. You know, like, are you in Asia? Are you we're from Tunisia. Well, I've been there, right? All right. So, are you my Don Semba lady from Tunisia under a different name? Because I know you under a different name under Don Semba, or maybe another one. My second Tunisian. I've got one really big Don Semba follower from Tunisia. And you'll know if it's you because she did what do you call it, a project for school interviewing me. So are you that person or number two? I'm going to call you T2. Yes, I always need my team Africa on Don Semba. I definitely, yes, I always need you guys. Yeah, I lived in Africa for 17 years. I visited Tunisia. I spent time in Libya in the days of Gaddafi. No, before Gaddafi, King Idris. I've been to Tunisia. What's left of Tunisia? Come on, Sal. I can see it. Why can't I? What's on the left of Tunisia? I've been there too. I can't believe I can't think what it's called. And Morocco, I've been to. In fact, I've been to nearly, I would think probably about 50% of the African countries. Algeria, thank you very much, Amel. I knew you'd know it. Jodie's probably checking it for us right now because Jodie does that sort of thing. So welcome. Okay, here's our main subject. Our main subject is soul work. And what I'm going to do, and this is how it works, is I'm going to read a quote. And then whatever comes up for you while I'm talking about that quote, that's what we discuss. So some of you will react to it one way. For some of you, you will react to it a different way. Yes, Algeria in North Africa, Linda. I have viewers there. And Don Semba has a team there. Well, Samuel, I'm so glad you're outside my house right now. And you're right. It is a beautiful place. And yeah, if you believe it, it's just like, really. All right, here we go. Here's today's first quote. We are members of a vast cosmic orchestra in which each living instrument is essential to the complementary and harmonious playing of the whole. All right. We are members of a vast cosmic orchestra in which each living instrument is essential to the complementary and harmonious playing of the whole. Hi there, Alan. How many of you can see that each of us plays a part in making this world a better place? And it is so tiny sometimes, but what you lose track of is that you do have impact. And if you're being nasty to people, do you understand you are adding to that part of the world? Now, I'm not a perfect person. I have this little person inside me that is, not the nicest person some days. But I'm working really hard to keep her under control because I do realize the more goodness I put out, the more goodness we will receive. And that is why I said when we were getting attacked by the trolls, for example, on Friday, I said, let us have sympathy for them. Because what sort of mentality must you have to get your jollies out of being a troll? Do you understand? And that was part of what I was saying. So I am not saying that I am perfect at this at all times, because that would definitely not be true of me. But I am working more and more and letting those people do their thing and getting on with my own life. And that is called, how many of you know you put too much energy out into what other people are doing and not keeping the energy for yourself so that you can continue to do good things? You're so busy protecting yourself from the enemies that you... Wow. So Ireland is saying, Ireland, may I repeat that? Because I believe I can help you with it. Okay. So you understand, this is your choice, Ireland. I want to know whether I can repeat the story because I think it might help. Okay. So Ireland's just given me permission. What he's saying is, I'm so stressed. I've been bringing 2 disabled people shopping 5 days this week. And it's a kind gesture. And I want to talk about your kind gesture. But now it seems like they are taking advantage. And the reason it feels like that, Ireland, is because they are. It's quite simple. I find whenever I start to feel a bit resentful, I need to put down a boundary somewhere. That's my rule now. Whenever I start to get a bit resentful, I go, wait a minute, what's going on that you haven't put down a boundary? So on top of that, Alan's got a problem because his bestie is going into rehab. And so that also lessens the amount of mojo juice that you have available, Ireland. So why don't you use that as your reason and just say to the disabled people, hey guys, I love to help you, but starting now, I've got a friend of mine who's in hospital, and that's how I'd word it. And I just want to tell you, I will gladly help you once a week. Choose your day. Let's plan it. I cannot do more than that. I've got a friend in hospital and they have to take precedence. Yes, some of you will have seen, I put that up on Facebook or on Twitter today, right? Saying I can't this week is perfectly okay. Saying I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you today is perfectly okay. And the truth is, Alan, from my experience, if they want to do it badly enough, they'll find some other idiot to do it for them. Right? Because those sort of people will continue to use people. They'll just find a different one to use. Does that make sense? Or why are you going shopping? Don't you have that system in Ireland? Is it not there yet that they can literally order their groceries online? And if they say, I don't know how to do that, that's where I'd spend my time, Alan. I'll say, I'll come over. Instead of taking you shopping, I'm going to teach you how to do it for yourself. And they will deliver it to your door. And you won't ever need to worry about asking people to do the shopping for you. Okay, now listen to this one. For those of you who are regular viewers, this is I got sucked in one, okay? Ireland, I'm presuming from this point onwards, unless you tell me otherwise, whatever you type, I'm going to repeat. Let me just get that clear before I start repeating, because this was a great moment that came up. Yes, Linda's saying she taught her neighbors how to order. Love them to bits, but it's easier now. Yeah. Okay, so here's Ireland's thing. Now listen to this one. Really important for you all to hear this, because this happens to all of us all of the time. They call and they cry when I try to postpone, because one of them had a brain tumor, but it feels like I do more for them than their paid carers. You bet you do. They have paid carers. Okay? So what I need you to do, Ireland, is to teach them not to manipulate you. All right. And the way you teach them not to manipulate you, which is to go, I'm going to pretend that the person's name is Bob Ireland, just for want of a better. Bob, I hear you crying, and you know I have always done as much as I can to help you. I just want to tell you that it's getting a little bit too much for me. I want to continue to help you, but I will help you once a week, and we will find a time that suits us. If you want to learn how to order online, I will teach you. And by the way, Bob, I know that having a brain tumor isn't fun. But having a brain tumor doesn't mean that you can't help yourself. It means that you have a brain tumor. And you have carers to look after you. Makes sense? And so I want to be your friend, not your servant. And really that is, you want to get that word out there somewhere, because that's how it's feeling, right? You're feeling like unpaid help. And so I would really recommend that you just do that, and tell them you care deeply about them. Yes, Linda saying, thank you, Linda, and I'm glad that you got it. Linda says, Sal, you taught me how to help, but within my means to help, all right? Just within my capacity, not over and above that. Yes, and you're right, Ireland. If you do that, you will make them stronger. And you think it's emotional blackmail, and you're right, because I've brought them to places they haven't been to in 15 years. It feels good to help that way. Exactly. You're doing a great job. But if you've lost work helping them, that is not a good idea, right? That's the point that Linda made, right? She learned from being here how to help within her limited means. Now, let me give an example of this, Ireland. I play an online big team game, one of these international things. I play one of those, and it is designed to make you spend money. Do you understand that? They you want to level up, you can do it quickly by spending this much money. I ignore all of that. All right, I'm not in there to spend money. I'm in there to play a game. And the interesting thing is, I'm a stealth person round the back. I love being round the back, just doing things, but I'm not spending money doing it. I'm just doing the best I can with the free plays I can get. I'm already sort of level, 3 from the top in terms of being promoted. I've only been playing for 2 weeks. All right. And the reason is because I do incredibly stealth work. They don't know that I'm a 70-year-old. Well, some of them do know that I'm a 70-year-old retiree. They don't care. Hi, Nada. We love it when you listen in. And so you understand, they don't care what age I am, or that I'm female or whatever. All they know is, for example, they all lost an incredible amount of troops recently, and they all needed, in the game, they all needed iron ore in a hurry. Guess who had it? Guess who has been hoarding it up for them? So when that came in, I just literally, started sending them iron because I knew they'd need it. Well, Ireland, you know something, honey? I don't do this work. I thank you. I mean, for those listening on the replay, Ireland just said, Mama Sal, I admire you greatly. You do wonderful work. I thank you for that. But you do understand I don't do it on my own. No, it's called March of Empires. Right, Nada. I'm one of those resource collectors, but I'm hoarding it quietly, right? I do enough battles to keep me where I need to go, but the rest of the time I'm hoarding stuff up, because I know, those young people are going to go out and blow their armies apart, because that's what people do in real life, right? When they're young, right? So when that happens, they're going to go, I lost my whole army because I didn't have a protection shield up or whatever, you have to have. And I'm going, It's okay. Iron ore is on its way to you. And I'll send my whole army out with protecting all this iron ore to them. And they go, you are the best, And so, I look at it and I go, I think these games teach you who you really are at your essence. Oh, so it's because she follows you on some other platform, I would think, Ireland. But good question to ask. All right, let's go. So here we go again, right? How many of you can now see and do understand that you are members of a vast cosmic orchestra in which each living instrument is essential to the complementary and harmonious playing of the whole? How many of you know that the reason I do this is because if it helps one person per broadcast in some little way, it will have been worth every hour I spend here? Now, some of you know me a long time. Some of you have known there have been plenty of times where I picked up the lead and went, I am going to not do this anymore. All right? and I'm going to disconnect. And I'll be so close to disconnecting it all. And I'm going to get to this in a second, guys. And what I remember is this broadcast you're about to do could help one person. Are you really sure you want to disconnect YouTube? And I go, no. If it helps one person, it's going to keep on. All right. And the reason I know it helps one person is one of you will write a comment. Somebody will write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. Somebody will tell me, I'm so glad you did that broadcast because this is what I need. I needed to hear this. So if you ever feel like that, write me a comment. It may stop me from disconnecting. All right, so here's the question. Sometimes somebody talks to my mom in a really rude manner. What should I do? Quite honestly, it's not for you to do it. It's for your mother to do it. The person who needs to look after herself is your mother. You're getting married in 2 months? Wow. Who's getting married in 2 months? Ireland? If people are getting into fights in your backyard and you're having to call the police daily, yeah. I'd get a restraining order not to allow them in onto my property. Well, that's wonderful. Jody, let's get Alan's correct call sign here, and I'll make sure to put up some thoughts and prayers. When are you getting married? Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you've got a restraining order and you have to call the police on them and they're in your yard when there's a restraining order, they'll be sorry they did that. Oh my gosh, Eliza John, listen to the pun here. Alan's about to marry somebody from Kuwait, and Eliza John, with her sense of humor, says, Sean, you didn't Kuwait too long. Oh, that is good. I like that. I do like puns, yeah. You're saying, I don't know why they chose my backyard. Let me tell you what I have learned in life that I want to just share with you. Don't ask why. The biggest waste of time in the world is to ask why. Now, when I say that, it's like, he left me. Why did he do that? I don't understand. Da, 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 da. You probably will never find out why. They're climbing my back fence and doing this in my yard. Why? Who cares why? Get the police on it. Get a restraining order on them. Have their parents brought in. If these are kids, bring their parents in. If they're not kids, bring the police in. Do something. And then you're going, oh, but they might punish me. Yeah, they may. But if you don't do anything, you're rewarding bad behavior. And if they're young enough that the parents are involved, okay, no problem. Do you understand? If the parents are involved, you need a commitment from the parents. Just call the police. It's got nothing to do with you. I don't know who Numbers and Alan are. Yeah, I have, if these are people that don't have the right, they're trespassing, then call the police and tell them that you've got people fighting in your backyard. And okay. So here we go. The next quote, and let's just take a deep breath. Do you understand, in everything in life, you can choose to complain about it or do something about it? Quite simple. And if all you do is complain about it, then you don't want help. Sunday is soul day. We work on souls. So here's the next one. I love this. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Solitude will not be solitude. Poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness. Weakness. I'm going to read that again. That's really powerful stuff. Listen to this. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Solitude will not be solitude. Poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness, weakness. How many of you can feel that one? And in what way? And while you're typing, what I felt here is that I remember saying to Yvonne this week, for those of you who don't know, Yvonne is my friend and tenant. And I said to her, I'm so scared at the fact that I may downsize by 3/4, and I don't know if I can do that. And I'm doing everything I can to downsize, but I'm not sure if I can downsize by 3/4. And she said, "Oh yes, you can. I've seen you. You are, as Jody would say, you are stealth at this. When you have to, you do it very quickly." And she said, "You really know what's important to you and what isn't. And so therefore, don't worry about that. Even if you pack it all up and take it with you, you will, when you realize you don't have room for it, you will just, cut it down." All right. So I'm now going to presume that we have a troll, because I don't find that credible. All right, so I'm going to continue on. I just want to give people, that heads up. However, up until that point, I was happy. Here we go. Take a deep breath. Let's stay on Soul Sunday here, but stay focused, right? What things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you will receive them and you shall have them. That comes from the book of Mark. Whatsoever things you desire, when you pray, believe that you will receive them and you shall have them. And, sometimes I will say that prayer in terms of something that I want, but then I always try and make sure that I end it with, if it is the right thing for me. In other words, I don't want to bring to me something that isn't a good deal for me in some way. So I will pray that the deal I'm trying to do on Cedar Cottage works out, if it is the right place for me to be. Do you understand? That's how I pray. And I think that's a really important way. Beth, I stand in awe of the things you're doing to change your life. And to me, it is amazing. But I also am aware of the fact that it's the right thing to do. And you're probably wondering why you didn't do it 10 years ago or 20 years ago or whenever. Because you really did have time for you. You just didn't choose to take it. And I love the fact that you wrote and said that, you asked your husband to come and help you do the groceries. And that your husband said, yeah, he'd love to do that if he could, visit the beer aisle. And I'm going, that's a great negotiation, as long as he's done his share of the shopping first. Yeah. This is your reward. You get to play in the beer aisle. And if that is the way it goes, it's great. So I think it's really important. All right. So how many of you remember me talking about Dr. Jory Drampolsky? Here's another one of his quotes. I love his stuff. He wrote a book called Love is Letting Go of Fear. You see, whenever you are in a hateful mode, it's because you fear something. And that's sometimes difficult to see that mirror. But it is true that whenever I am angry about something, I fear something. And that's what I'm learning to do now. I haven't got it perfectly yet, which is whenever I fear something, I go, what is it you're scared of here that you're in fear? Why do you have to fear this person? It's not necessary. Okay, so here we go. Giving means extending one's love with no conditions, no expectations, and no boundaries. Peace of mind occurs, therefore, when we put our attention into giving and have no desire to get anything from or to change another person. The giving motivation leads to a sense of inner peace and joy that is unrelated to time. Hi, Pat. Good to see you there. I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. All right, let's read it again. Giving means extending one's love with no conditions, no expectations, and no boundaries. Peace of mind occurs, therefore, when we put our attention into giving and have no desire to get anything from or to change another person. The giving motivation leads to a sense of inner peace and joy that is unrelated to time. Now, Pat, I know that in the time I've known you, you did put down a boundary. There were people using you, and you put down a boundary. So I have to say that I totally agree that when people are misusing our friendship or our kindness, that is a time you can put down a boundary. But if they then get the message and get back into shape, if you know what I mean, and don't start using you again, it's okay to give them back the chance to show that they've learned something. If they haven't, put down the boundary again. Eventually, they will get the lesson enough times that they'll learn it. How many of you have noticed that some of these lessons come back more times than we want? It's like, I've dealt with this already, haven't I? And apparently not. It's coming back again. If it keeps coming back, it means you haven't got the message yet. Thank you, Jody. So how many of you realize that you've given in good faith? Now here's Linda's take on this one. Boundaries are personal, I think, but each person's boundary is different. Yes. So if you're, I still think that the benchmark that I was given once really is true. If you are doing more than 50% of the work, if you're helping somebody more than 50%, if what you're getting back in the way of value, and I say value because this is like, when I do something good, I know that's not noble. I know I get some pleasure out of doing something good. Is Ireland still here? Or did he go already? You understand? I know I get some pleasure out of that. Pat, right? When you send out a quilt, I bet you're just like a little, you're like, this person's going to love this so much. And you know how much joy that brings you. So you see, I don't think that is bad giving. I think that's good giving. It actually, you put a lot of love into making that quilt, and you give a lot of love out in sending it. But I think that day that you put the boundary down on a family member that was abusing your friendship, absolutely right. Yeah, but that's, when you have a delay, that's your perfectionist, right? So Pat, do you want to know what I say to myself when I'm trying to log in and do the right thing? Because I'm a time freak. I hate to be late to do the broadcast. Do you know what I say to myself as, when something's going on, it's glitchy and it won't do the right things? Do you know what I say to myself? I say like a mantra, Pat, it takes as long as it takes, Sal. Just do the right things in the right order, and it takes as long as it takes. You will get there. And I refuse to get stressed out about it. Like, they'll think I've left them. You guys know, if I'm late for a broadcast, it isn't because I'm late for a broadcast. I know Jody is stealth at this, Linda. She had a lot of practice on Friday. She passed Troll 101. With honors. She got really good really quickly. But are we surprised? It's our Jody. She takes things very seriously when it comes to protecting. Let's see a round of applause. Well done, Jody. Okay, so we've got 15 minutes. Anybody got anything they want to talk about before I go into the final part of this and turn the barbecue on? Something you're itching to talk about or say or whatever. Yeah, you got to protect the family. And I was saying, Jody reminded me that today is National Lipstick Day. And my question was, for those of you who wear lipstick, if you could only have one in your life, which one would you have? Yeah, you want me to talk about allowances, but let me just check if somebody else got something they want to talk about before I talk about that. But thank you, Jody. This is the one I'd probably pick. It's a great color, I think. It's by Mood Matches. And I love it because as long as I'm wearing something that pink will go with, it looks the great. It's, oh, really? Hang on a second, Jody. Don't nuke this. Oh, I was just going to say, calls, if my headset that I'm wearing was recalled, what headset is it that got recalled? Which make? And which version of it? Let's see if we can call the bluff here. Which one is the one that I use? If you can name the one that has been recalled, then I will perhaps even look that up. So, but if you're just saying it in, yeah, and it's been recalled. All the razors, all the models of razor have been recalled. Is that what you're saying? Hi, Ant. Good to see you again. All right, so let's go on to the next quote if we haven't got anything else that anybody particularly wants to talk about before we close. The only successful manifestation is one which brings about change or growth in consciousness. That is, it has manifested God or revealed him more fully, as well as having manifested in a form. I think that's really interesting. Thank you for that. Could somebody just write that model down for me? The 7.1 RAGB. Yeah. The only successful manifestation is one which brings about a change or growth in consciousness. That is, it has manifested God or revealed him more fully, as well as having manifested a form. So, in other words, what works? And by the way, if that is true that that model is the one I'm wearing, I'll have to check that. If that is the one I'm wearing, I'd like to thank you for the heads up, for those people who just warned me about the headset. It definitely is a razor, and I love it. I will be very sad if I have to get rid of it. So, but thank you for the heads up. I appreciate that, if that is true. And yes, mine does have the lights right here, and the colors change. I really find it difficult to believe that it's powered by a nuclear core, but if you say so. All right, so here we go for one more. And this one is from Gilbrain, and you know I love him. One might not reach the dawn, save by the path of the night. One may not reach the dawn, save by the path of the night. How many of you found that out? That sometimes in your darkest times, you come out the other side with some really great learning. That I always say to people, when they're going through a really tough time, the chances are 5 years from now, you'll look back on this and say, I'm glad it happened. I learned this. I know at the moment you can't see anything right about what's going on, but I am pretty sure that 5 years' time you will. And the interesting thing was somebody came back to me recently and said, something, I remember you telling me that, and it was true. Because 5 years later, I can look back and say, I really was so in resistance over this. Yeah, I really was in resistance. And I have learned now. So that is why when we get overwhelmed, it's here to teach us something. When you get overwhelmed, it's like, can I get this back under control? And what do I need to do to get it back under control? Yes, I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to do too much. I took on too much. I've got to take it down. And you'll be amazed how many people trying to sell you things actually say it in a way that pushes those buttons in you. Oh, we only have 3 left, if they've only got 3 left, I better get one. No, don't go there. I assure you that if it's a good seller, there are going to be plenty left somewhere else, right? If it's a good seller, don't ever get to, the game I'm playing is constantly doing that. If you want to get upgraded, buy this package. If you want to do that, and I go, yeah, if I'm any good at this game, I'll get upgraded anyway, and that's what I found that I do. But if I want to do it if I want instant gratification, that's what the interesting thing is. If you constantly want instant gratification, then that will cost you big money, and it will also cost you a lot of peace of mind. And to me, this is about, think about that in your life. All right. The things that we think about are, how do I make my life less stressful, not more? What do I need to do to reduce the stress in my life, not increase it? How many of you can feel, for example, that if I downsize from 2,400 square feet down to 500, that I'm going to be a little stressed on certain things? There's going to be a little bit of a push there. But what it's going to really make me do is to say to myself, do I want to keep this badly enough that I'm going to pay for storage to keep it? Or am I prepared to let it go so I can live within 500 square feet? Of which only 400, I believe, will be 4 seasons. Which 100, no, what did I say? It's a 26 by 6 foot addition. I think will only be usable 3 seasons of the year. I'm just about to close anyway, Linda, so you sleep well. Yes, it needs a new name. Send me the picture and we'll come up with names for you. I'll put it on Facebook for you. Why would you change its name when it's lived with that name for all its life? Because it would suit you better? Think about that. Why confuse it more? It's going to change its homes. Does it need to change its name as well? Can anybody see what I'm getting at here? No, it doesn't know that, Linda. You know that. Your Yogi doesn't know that. What name does it have at the moment? It's called Bad Times? Wow. All right, so listen to this. Now, don't get angry, people. Don't get sucked into the emotion of this. All right. Jody, listen up here. Do not get sucked into this. It's over. And it's what the dog had to get a good owner like Linda. But I'm going to repeat it. So if ever you want to hear what cruelty looks like, its name is Lucky, but each time he called it, he hit it. Why? That is a power thing, right? How sad is that? All right, so everybody, that is the reality, right? We don't have to get sucked into the emotion of it. Be grateful that Linda took the action she did. Linda, you did a good thing, honey. And I really want to give you a big round of applause and sleep tight, knowing you've done the right thing. And yes, he is lucky. He is lucky to have found you. All right? So just know that to be true. Very lucky. But I also know that dogs live in the moment. It'll take him a little while to get used to a new name. If you really, I personally wouldn't change his name, because the fact that you say it it'll sound loving. He has no reason to mistrust you yet. So, and I say yet, I don't mean that. I mean, dogs. He will be a little fearful, and quite rightly so. When you first call his name, he's going to be fearful. Your job is to show him that he is very lucky, and that you are lucky to have him, because he has come into your life to teach you something. Of that, I am sure. Everybody, I need to go cook. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here for Soul Sunday. Please remember, if you think about it, Linda, the only reason you would change his name is for your benefit, not for his. He doesn't know that his name is associated with bad things. Otherwise, he wouldn't react the way that he did. I want you to show him what that word means. Yeah. So please remember to look after one another, because that's what we do in life. But only after you've looked after yourself. And looking after yourself is not a bad thing to do, contrary to what you might have been taught. You see, when you look after yourself, you actually give far more openly and willingly to others. And please remember, whenever you do give to others, that you get a benefit. And if it's no longer feeling good, stop giving as much. That is my advice to you. This is DearMamaSal saying, be well. Live a happy life. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.